Welcome to Tech Driven Business. In this episode, How No of Summerlin Analytics rejoins me, where he will be interviewing me on how SAP Analytics Cloud or SAC can handle financial planning, budgeting, and forecasting. If you are just joining in, this is the fifth episode on SAC with How. Check out our earlier episodes if you want to learn more about SAC.
Thank you again for inviting me back. So, just an FYI for the listeners, I have a lot of experience on the business intelligence side, but planning has always been that mysterious area for me since it's almost always taken care of by other folks more functional in nature. So I was wondering, we've heard over the years with SAP, there's different tools and technologies like what was it, BBC, and before that was BPS and maybe integrated planning. But now it seems like SAP is putting all their money and all their effort into planning within Analytics Cloud. So can you let us know, what is it and how is it better than the other legacy planning tools from SAP?
Absolutely. This is definitely one of the game changers when it comes to SAP Analytics Cloud. The planning component is such a powerful addition to the SAC portfolio. Especially if a company is looking for a planning solution that is easy to use and can be quickly adopted by the business users, then I would definitely recommend this tool because that will help you get there much quicker. There has been a lot of different tools available in the past from SAP, as you mentioned, how, but there is something about planning in SAC. It really puts the control in the hands of the end users. They can set up the budgets, their forecasts, uh, creating their own versions of their model data, simplifying the data imports, which are some of the key pieces when you're doing planning, and you have to make it as business savvy and easy to use so the end users and folks who are really into this planning approach in their companies, they can find it easy to adopt this tool. And SAC planning allows them to do that, especially some of the really cool features that it includes, some of the distribution functions, allocations, other things that come along with planning, they are all built in for the end users.
Gotcha. And would you say, and just to, highlight that point that you made earlier about it being maybe business friendly or easy to use, my experience with some of the other planning tool from a developer's perspective, like BPC, it's not intuitive. You have to know what was it, ABDREs and all these like special macros on the front end, and you also have to know how to model things on the back end, most likely like a set of separate BW cubes. And to me, it was always confusing, right? Because there's different front end tools, a different version of your back end tool. Would you say this new generation of planning inside Analytics Cloud, would you say it's much easier? And is that why making it so unique?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you hit on a very key point over there. Like, behind the scenes, when you do working with some of the older tools, and they are great tools. BPC has got some great functionality built in, and it's very from a business perspective, it's easy to adopt. But at the same time, there are so many moving parts. From an end user perspective, it's very difficult to understand some of the inner workings, right? When it comes to SAC planning, the first and the foremost thing is, it's all in the cloud. You're dealing with an application which is built for speed and is built on this cloud platform, makes it very easy and open in terms of how it interacts with the users. So I would say that really brings forward this simplicity and makes it very open from a end user perspective to understand how this whole process is working when they are doing planning in SAC.
Gotcha. And for the folks who are maybe, still playing with Excel worksheets and maybe they're not so familiar with the next generation tools, What are some of the key features that someone from the finance background who is accustomed to planning things manually, what are some of the key features that, this tool would provide to them that kind of alleviates some of their issues in terms of either speeding up their time or automating some of their work? Is there any key features you'd like to call out with this side of the tool?
Oh yeah, I mean this tool is feature rich. I mean, I would one thing that I would really stress over here, like some of the features I'll share with you right now and your listeners, it's just a small subset. There's so many different things that SAC planning can do, and it makes it so much easier to interact with other planning users that it is not fair to kind of all club it together in this short session. But I will kind of hit up on some of the big features, the ones that really makes the life of the planner
Hmm.
easier. It doesn't matter you're doing annual budgeting or you're doing a strategy plan or in a 5-year time frame or just your monthly forecasting. These features will help any of those planning scenarios where makes the life of the planning uh, business user very simple and collaborative. So let's start with the calendar integration. Here, any planning uh, team, it doesn't matter your corporate planning team or you are in the business units, uh, always have these planning calendars where they follow through certain tasks at a certain time. With SAC, that calendar integration is built into the tool where users can collaborate seamlessly with their colleagues. With the calendar, you could create tasks, assign tasks to other users, set due dates. I mean, these are some of the really cool features which are rightly available into the tool, and you can also check up on upcoming tasks, etc. Now, going beyond that, other big thing, especially when you're going through the planning cycle in your organization, collaboration is the key. When you're collaborating with other planners, either in if you're part of the corporate finance team or any of the other areas or parts of the business, you want to collaborate with them to make sure you are all working towards a common goal or whatever you're forecasting or you're budgeting for. This tool has got this online collaboration built in, which allows you to do that, which avoids all these emails back and forth, right? I mean, and that's a big win. You can do it right in the tool. Then now let's get a little technical, right? Every planning application needs some actions to be done. You can do your manual planning, but then you also need certain functions to be uh, taken care by the planning tool. Uh, SAC, you call these data actions. Within your stories, you can build in this data actions where you can do carry forward functions, time functions, a lot of different things that you can do. And that allows you to make your planning process much more robust and quick. So that's another key feature that is available to end users. Then you have the table functions, which is really when you're talking about version copies, scenarios, uh, anything that you do with planning, you always need to have an ability to create multiple versions where you're sharing a version which is just maybe a working version for your users, and there is a version that is the final version you want to share with your board or uh, your corporate team. So you have all these options available, and then some customers who already have S4 HANA available, right? Then you have this pre-built content that can be leveraged. So you have all these different things that are really, I call it the key features because they
Hmm.
are available out of the box, makes the life of the planner much easier, and it's all built in one place. So you don't have to go and figure this out on your own. It's just available to you. So I think that's really makes this tool a lot more adaptive in terms of the usage, the ability to make things simple and make it more robust.
That's awesome. It sounds like they kind of learned from their mistakes and started including some of these manual tasks inside the platform. Um, One thing I remember from back in the day of having to support PPC was just moving data around a lot. And it sounds like now, maybe some of that functionality is already either taken care of for you, or maybe we can push the data from the application back and forth with S4. So it sounds great. Um, I know
Yeah.
it's something that I've always had in the back of my mind to kind of pick up again. I see a lot of news and marketing material for the planning functionality. I know a lot of people are excited about it. So thank you for your insight. This was really helpful to see where SAP is really going with their product line.
Absolutely. No, and one thing, like you said about the functionality and the things that SAPs keep on adding to this tool to make it much easier for the end users to follow. One key piece is this tool combines three things in one. You
Hmm.
have your analytics available, right? I mean, that's one of the core pieces of SAC, your analytics piece. Then you put your planning component on top of it, and then your predictive modeling, right? So all of these three functionalities are so well organized and they work in harmony together. So if you are an end user, you don't have to go and find another tool for your data analytics. It's all available. It's all in one place. So you can have the planning done, your dashboarding, and your future forecasting. You want to use predictive modeling and all that. It's all there together.
I remember, if I can ask you one last question, a lot of the customers, now that we're moving to Q4 towards the end of the year, they're starting to look at their planning for the following year. Would this tool shorten that planning process from, several weeks down to maybe something more manageable?
Absolutely, absolutely. Once you have, and I think the approach here is uh, start with simple scenarios, right? A lot of times, every company has got different types of planning they do, from their labor planning to their financial planning to your supply chain, and it can be
Mhm.
at different levels of detail where you're planning for each of these areas, right? I
Mhm.
would say take one area and then go with it and see how this tool can make lives of the planners easier, and then you can roll out other areas as you build upon it. And in the end, you're looking for a complete financial statement out of this tool, which it can do for you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mustansir, for sharing your thoughts on this. I'm sure you have much more to share than we have time for, but thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to Tech Driven Business. Financial planning, budgeting, and forecasting has certainly improved since I first started out in my career. Stay tuned for our next and final episode where we will be sharing customer stories and insights on using SAC.